Today we're going to do a water change. So we've been having some issues with our Dorset Naga, and I know in one of the previous videos, Lydia had mentioned that we let it run dry of water. Since then, the leaves fell off. We've kind of had some issues with it. It is full of peppers, and it does look like there's new growth on it, but the last time I looked, it looked like the roots were starting to turn a little bit on us. So we're going to do a complete water change, clean out the roots with some peroxide, and then bring it back in, and hopefully that clears up the issue. If you want to take a look, you can see how the leaves on this are very sparse compared to the other ones. It was very full. You can see on the floor all around it is where all the leaves fell off. So hopefully we can correct this today. And let's bring it out into the kitchen and change the water. So taking a look at this here, you can see the roots are not looking too good on this one right here. They're very dark. Definitely looks like there's some type of root rot going on. So first thing I'm going to do is just place this in here for now, just to keep it aside so I can actually do a water change on it. So I just emptied the water, and you can see the residue all left on the inside of the bucket. I'm going to give this a good rinse. Another thing I've noticed too is that these hoses do get filled up inside of them, so I'm just going to give them a quick, I'm going to blow them out just to make sure that there's nothing caked up on the inside of this. All right, now that I got the bucket nice and clean, the next thing I want to do is I want to rinse off these roots. So if you can see, some of these roots on this side are a lot lighter, and some of these roots are very dark. The darker the root, I think the worse it is. You almost want definitely a lighter root back to the bucket. And this is what we've been using. So we've been using the feed sheet from Cultivation Nation, which is the hydroponic grow of fertilizer that we've been using. And these are, I mean, well over 12 weeks old, and there are established peppers on it. So all it calls for is 2 teaspoons of bloom per gallon. So we found that about 2 gallons works best with this setup. Any more than that, it seems like it causes an issue because it's up too high on the pepper and it's not getting enough oxygen. So 2 gallons seems to work best, and that's what we're going to do. So in this chart, it tells you that 2 tablespoons is 10 milliliters. I'm going to fill this up to the gallon, and I'm going to check the pH and check the nutrient level to make sure everything is where I like it. So I found that the best pH level has been between 6 and 6.2 is where I've been starting these at, and it's been pretty good. So we do have well water, and right now, I mean, I haven't added anything to it. We're just using straight well water, and it's at about 6.3 for the pH level. We do have some general hydroponics pH down. I'm going to add a little bit to it. I'm not going to add too much because once you do it a little bit, you kind of almost get a feel for how much you think you need. I would do it a couple of drops at a time just to get yourself in the right range until you feel like you get the hang of it. I don't mind if it's a little under 6. And right now it's at about 5.9, which is pretty good. We've tried many different methods of adding fertilizer, and I feel like the gallon method seems to be I don't know, it's the easiest, and I think you get the most accurate measurements. We already know the pH is a little high, so I'm just going to go add a few drops of the pH down. So where I came up with these numbers is on this sheet. So according to this sheet, it recommends being between 1,000 and 1,200 on the EC, and the TDS, it says between 700 and 800. I feel like lower is better for us for some reason. It seems to be working really well between 300 and 500. So let's check this number again, and we'll start with the pH. So I put a little less pH down in it to keep it. I mean, I figure between the two, this will balance out at about six even. So, but they're both right in the range, and they both had a good number. So I feel confident with that. So here's the EC level. That one I thought was a little high. I did put a little less in it to lessen it here, so the two should balance off to be, I'm hoping around 800, maybe 850. And this one here should be pretty low as well. It's right around 320. The other one was over 600, so I'm hoping that that'll bring it down to right around 500. So pretty happy with the way these numbers worked out. And if anybody has any different numbers that they go by, we'd love to know, because, like I said, this is our first time doing this, and it's basically all trial and error. So any factual numbers we get would be great. Right now, I said we're just going by what seems to be working for us. So now I'm going to check the total levels, and so the pH is right at 6, which is exactly where I wanted it to be. EC levels are at 835, which is pretty much where I was hoping they would be. And the TDS level is 420. So to me, like, these are the perfect levels that seem to be working. That's the levels we kept the scorpion peppers that we're growing at, and those things have come out perfect. So I'm hoping with these numbers, everything should work out great. Last thing is, because we've had some issue with some rot going on, I throw in a squirt of peroxide. Maybe I should measure it. I don't know, but I just throw in a squirt, and it seems to have worked fine so far. So. All right. So I think these are ready to go back in. One thing I gotta remember is exactly which hose goes to which. Out of the hoses that come into the side of the tank, one goes to the drip ring and the other one goes to the air stone that's in it. And we just want to make sure, because this hooked up to different sides of the air compressor. So I want to make sure that this is getting hooked up to the air stone side, and this is getting hooked up to the actual compressor pushing the air through the drip ring. So if you can see on the side of this, this is the amount of water that's in it. That's about as high as I'd like to go. And you can see where the line is actually up to here. That's when we first started, and the root system wasn't as big. But the bigger the root system gets, the less water you want to have in it, because it seems to act better the less water with the bigger roots. So we do have to do water changes more often, or add water more often, but it seems to have worked very well with all our other plants. Plug this back in. And I'm going to turn the drip ring back on. But you can see the water starts spitting out. Basically sucks the water out and just spits it through the drip ring, just to keep the water moving a little bit. These peppers look very healthy, so we're kind of excited that we didn't do major damage to this plant. We're just waiting for these to ripen up now. And this one actually looks like it's starting to turn a little bit color-wise. This plant does have quite a few pods on it, and they all seem like they're a decent size, and hopefully they start ripening soon and we get try them. We do monitor these every day. For the most part, we don't add too much nutrients to it. You're doing a complete water change, so we added nutrients. Once the water levels go down, we've basically just been adding water to it to keep the nutrients levels at good levels to what we feel is comfortable for what we've been shooting. So far, this is what works. If you got anything better, let us know. Till next time.